Everything wants a seat at my table. Fear, worry, anger, outrage, resentment. But just because something shows up doesn't mean it deserves to stay. That hit me on the way to Ann Arbor today. I live in Wyandotte now, about an hour away, but a couple times a week I still drive back to Holiday's restaurant. I've been going there for almost 17 years. The owner knows me, the servers know me, some of the customers know me. I can sit in my booth, plug in my laptop, and drink my nice Diet Coke and work. There are restaurants way closer to home, places that would save me time and gas. But I keep going back. That day, I was sitting in construction traffic. Oh, the drive was taking longer than usual, and I caught myself thinking, why do I keep driving all the way back here? Somewhere in that traffic, I found my answer. The world has felt loud to me lately. Not busy, loud. Everywhere I look, something wants my attention. A headline, an argument, a crisis, a reason to worry, a reason to be angry. And if I'm not careful, I start carrying all of it. Not because it happened to me, because I kept giving it my attention. I read too much. I listen too long. I let the loudest voices have too much room. And before I know it, I'm not just informed, I'm heavy. Then I walk into Holidays. Oh, and something changes. Not because the world changed, because my attention changed. The servers are moving from table to table. Food is coming out of the kitchen. Somebody is laughing. Somebody is working. Somebody is eating lunch. Life is happening. Normal life. Nobody is trying to convince me to be angry. Nobody is trying to convince me to be afraid. People are simply living their lives. Working, talking, laughing, showing up for another day. I need that reminder because when I'm only paying attention to what gets amplified, I forget what is still true. The world isn't only outrage. The world isn't only fear. The world isn't only the loudest voice. But the loud things get my attention. And whatever holds my attention long enough starts shaping how I see everything. I have spent a lot of years letting fear have a permanent seat at my table. Fear about money, fear about business, fear about future, fear about things that never happened. And even when they never happened, oh goodness, I had already lived through them in my head. That is what worry does to me. It doesn't sit there quietly. It changes the room. It changes my tone. It changes how I see my day. That's the cost. Not the headline, not the argument, not the uncertainty. The cost is what I let it do to me. That is where let go be matters. I can't control the noise. I can't control every headline. I can't control what the world decides to amplify. But I can pause long enough to ask, do I want this to have a permanent seat at my table? I can be aware of what is happening without letting it sit with me all day. I can feel fear without feeding it. I can hear the noise without carrying it into every conversation. I can stay informed without letting the loudest thing become the truest thing. Maybe that is why I keep driving back to Holidays. It brings me back to real people, back to normal life, back to what is right in front of me. It reminds me that my attention is a choice. Life is going to be loud. Fear is going to ask for a seat. Worry is going to ask for a seat. Anger is going to ask for a seat. The question isn't whether they show up. The question is whether I let them stay. Everything wants a seat at my table, but I get to decide what deserves one.